Hey guys, how's it going? Michael Troy here. Today we're looking at Jae Lee's art on Namor versus Wildcats Trilogy. Fun episode. As you can tell, we're into the 90s, as you can see from these foil embossed covers. A true hallmark of its era. Anyway, can't wait to show it to you. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Hit that like button and let's get right into it. Okay, so Jae Lee is definitely a more stylized artist. I feel like he probably was like polarizing when he first came on the scene. Very reminiscent of like Simon Bisley with like heavy Bill Sienkiewicz kind of vibes. Very scratchy, dark, grim and gritty, slapping that ink all over the page. I feel he really came into his own as an artist when he started inking himself. And he developed quite quickly on Namor. I feel like his style was very, like, sort of, I don't know. He definitely, like, was pretty raw when he started on Namor. And is definitely one of those artists who grew quite quickly. John Byrne was writing for him. And then John Byrne left the book. Bob Harris took over as writer. And Jae Lee stayed on as artist for a little bit. And I just, like, this is the point where he's inking himself and just, like, really finding his own voice as an artist. Even though you do see, like, heavy, like, Sienkiewicz or Simon Bisley kind of vibes going on. But there's also a lot of boldness to his art. I mean, heavy blacks, lots of silhouettes. I mean, look at that great Dr. Doom. You have, like, Iron Fist and Namorita floating around. I just love how, like, stylized and different it is. So Bob Harris script, Jae Lee pencils and inks, Glynis Oliver colors. Glynis Oliver, Glynis Ween, depending on what point in her career, I guess, is just such an amazing colorist. You know, she colored the X-Men for years, and she just, you know, she worked with Bill Sienkiewicz to great effect on the New Mutants. And she just knows how to color any type of art. I love this here. I love these screens, this zipatone in here. That's like so much fun. You know, there's a real simplicity to his art. Lots of silhouettes. You know, it's funny because, I mean, on one hand, you would think that it's like sort of a cop-out or a shortcut with all the black and the silhouettes, but at the same time, especially if you're still doing traditional, like digitally, sure, no problem, just hit that paint bucket, whatever. But if you're actually doing this, and this is probably like, you know, throwing a lot of black on the page and then using one technique, I would think this is done with like dipping a toothbrush into white ink and just like splattering it across the page. A lot of splattering, a lot of great effects, very cool. You know, his art has definitely evolved. Superman, Batman, you know, he did Hellshock for Image and a lot of other great things. And he just has a really gorgeous quality to his art. I feel like he's lost a lot of sort of the, it's a lot less angular, but there's still like the hallmarks. And oh my gosh, and I have to say it because I say it every time it happens. Usually with an Image comic, but this is the Image, ushering in the Image era of art, but the inevitable point in the comic book where I have to turn the book sideways. But how cool is that, and how kind of random. I love that it's like this double page spread, but there's such, like, I don't know, an odd use of space here. Like, we have so much hair over here, and then, like, it's partially showing his torso, and like, but it's not showing. And then there's that humongous pepperoni nipple. I mean, wow. Anyway, that's so extra, but so cool at the same time. I would love to see this original art and just see how dirty and grimy the pages are and how cool that looks. I love the expression on his face. This is Namor getting a little crazy. I love this ad. I noticed this when I was flipping through this earlier. Punisher War Journal that was such a high point in Jim Lee's art career. And Mark Texiera drew this, and I just love this so much. I hope that the Punisher, I don't know, I read some headline recently that it's still possible to reclaim the Punisher logo from extremist groups, and I would hope so. How dare they adopt that? Like, I'm sure the Punisher is problematic for a lot of reasons, just based on the fact that, you know, he's a mass murderer, but, you know, he's a cool character. He deserves his place in the Marvel Universe. He deserves his respect and to not be stolen by some extremist group. This is cool here. I love this effect. I love the cityscape. I love, like, I wish that he just would have went for it and just done, like, the whole thing with all the buildings, but whatever. I guess it's a monthly comic book. You're penciling ink and you gotta cut at corners somewhere, but it's still to great effect. I love this sort of, like, flooding the streets, and you can see the street lights there. You know, this is a good way to do visual shorthand. If you're not going to be drawing, like, full backgrounds and full, like, establishing shots, you know, at least have the ability or the presence of mind to sort of fake it like that. I have respect for that. This is cool. This is so much fun. I love these Atlanteans. Like, I don't know, I just did the X Factor at Atlantis Attacks annual, and I don't know, Atlantis stories never really excited me. There's something that doesn't translate super well to, like, underwater stories on the comic book page. I guess it depends on the artist. I don't know. That's cool. I like that. Very cool Dr. Doom there. I mean, this is just Jae Lee, like, why Jae Lee, like, just rose to such cool popularity. I mean, he's still just on Namor and just, like, doing all this crazy, like, fun, cool art. Very cool. Dr. Doom. Lots of image shots, lots of money shots, lots of, like, large panels. But I'm up for it. Very cool artistry of Jae Lee. This cover is, like, totally dope. I love it. Like, you know, there were so many gimmicks on covers, but I have to say this is kind of a cool one. Like, how fun is that? And this is never deteriorating ever. So he's still nailing it, like, still going strong. This is, like, 4 issues later. Namor issue number, like, 37. This time we have Bob Harris, writer, Jae Lee, artist, Dana Morse, head colorist, Lil Higgins, letterer, and Terry Kavanagh, editor. I feel like Terry Kavanagh was, like, a good editor and did a lot of good things for comics as far as bringing on different artists and working with different artists and things like that. I love this so much, all this black and all this, like, splatter, and so cool. This is definitely, like, if you're gonna do a book like Namor underwater, like, I think Jae Lee is definitely a cool artist for that, like, keeping the visuals, like, super interesting throughout. Namor with his big ass long ponytail there. I love Jae Lee's art. I thought he was so cool and, like, revolutionary and just, like, different. But, you know, still had, like, that Bill Sienkiewicz vibe that, like, really appealed to me as well. So, way to be fresh and referential at the same time, Jae Lee. This is a cool panel. I really love the way the colorist colored that. It's a cool page in general. Like, it just makes me want to get, like, a gallon of black ink and just, like, go crazy with it. So many silhouettes. We're on page 17, so it's like, that deadline's coming, baby. Better start switching to silhouettes. I mean, that is, like, an egregious amount of silhouettes. It's almost as bad as Snowblind. That's a cool page. That's iconic. That is, like, just art for art's sake right there. Love it. I love when artists... that's so weird. I can imagine. Could you imagine just, like, okay, this is the last page. This is the best I could do. I can't finish the legs. Half the body's going to be in silhouette. But then this armor looks super cool here, and I love all the detailing. I would love to see this in black and white. We need a Jae Lee artist edition. It would be very telling, I'm sure. Anyway, so that's Jae Lee on Namor for a couple of issues. And we can see why Image Comics swiftly swooped him up and stole him and started using him. I feel like Wildcats Trilogy might have been one of his first books for Image. And I was super, super freaking excited when it came out. And like the better paper, the slicker, like it's totally showing off its art. Jae Lee art, Brandon Choi and David Nguyen color story, Joe Chiodo colors, could be Kyoto. Mike Heisler letters. Just very cool. And once again, notice the like foil cover. It's funny, it's like, it was so lamented in the past, but now that we have them, it's sort of like a time capsule, and I kind of love it. So cool, like the silhouettes and using the brick wall and just like, I mean, there's undeniable like Bill Sienkiewicz vibes going on here. You know, with the ink splatter and stuff like that. I love this panel so much. Props to the colorist. I mean, this is definitely more of an Image. I mean, it definitely looks like an Image book, but I still think it's very flattering to Jae Lee's art style. Oh my god, that is so great. Like, he's just having so much fun with this. And he's super young artist breaking in. And just, like, one of the artists... I mean, I feel like, you know, back in the day, a lot of artists with great potential were given the opportunity to draw monthly comics, and there is no better trial by fire than having to draw comics month after month on a monthly schedule. And if you don't get better just from the sheer volume of drawing and like the hours you're putting into it, then maybe you don't have it. That's all I'm saying. Oh my god, how cool is that? Does that not make you... That's sort of... Is that Chapel-esque in a way? I think of his work on Youngblood Strike File. But very Terminator at the same time. That's pretty small for an Image era gun, don't you say? Don't you think? So cool. I love it. You know, I always thought Grifter's mask was kind of silly, how it's kind of just like a bandana over his face, but definitely making it look cool there. Cool looking Void. I have to say, I feel like, you know, DC needs to bust out the Wildcats and just sort of try to give them another chance. I feel like they're, I guess I didn't read enough of the Alan Moore run. Maybe they did live up to their potential. I don't know. They probably did, but they just have a lot of potential in my eyes. And I think they're great character designs, and they're pretty fun and iconic looking. And they I feel like characters like Wildcats sort of are a good balance of like a bridge between more modern and sort of superhero comic costumes of yesteryear, because they still look like superheroes, but they're not silly in a way, if that makes sense. How cool is that? Oh look, early ad for Gen 13. And here's a secret in case you didn't know. Here, 2 secrets. Jeffrey Scott says J. Scott Campbell was still figuring out his name and what he wanted to go by. Look at all this great work, though. I mean, it's and this is like super young, early J. Scott Campbell. So to know what he became, it's no surprise to see like all this potential here. And Burnout. And Grunge. Stormwatch. And Freefall. Union. Mark Texeira. Love his art so much. And Gen X. What? Yep, they were called Gen X at first, but Marvel was like, quit trying to use the X. We own X. Back off the X. If you wanted X, you should have stayed at Marvel. Oops, did I throw in my own opinion there? I guess I did. Anyway, this, I can't wait till I find this book in my collection, because this is Travis Charest drawing Wildcats Special Edition, and it was so good. Unless I already did cover it. I don't remember. Anyway, Namor, Wildcats, Jae Lee, killing it with super cool art. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, hit like, share my content, and I'll bring you some more later. Thanks, guys.